And we're live. Hello, everybody. Hello, everybody. Welcome to another episode of Causey's Classics, brought to you by Black Cat Comics in Rockin' Milpitas, your one-stop shop for all things superhero. Shop online at black-cat-comics.com. This is a show about classic comics, about comic books from the great eras gone by. I'm your host, Mark Causey. If you're interested in purchasing any of the books that we're going to be talking about tonight, open up another window, go to black-cat-comics.com, click on shop, click on Causey's Classics, and get ready, because when I say make it live, the book in my hand will magically appear on your screen when you hit refresh. And if you want to purchase that book, go through the whole process, click on it, put it in your cart, check out. Because if you just put it in your cart and Bob puts it in his cart and Bob checks out, he's going to get the book and you're going to be sad. So that's a little bit about how it works. If you're not interested in purchasing any of the books tonight, that's fine. Sit back, relax, and enjoy a conversation about some classic comics. Tonight's topic is anniversary issues, special issues from the great titles, from the hallmark titles of comics. Anniversary issues are super fun. They have a little bit of everything that is great about reading comics, about collecting comics, about everything that makes comics great, from the great creative teams to big events, to just the simple nature of their large number. We'll be talking a lot about legacy numbers tonight. So welcome. Thanks for joining. Sit back. Let's have some fun. I always like to start with something small, something easy, but it's Causey's Classics. So we're going to be talking about a lot of my favorite things tonight. And one of those, if you've ever spent any time at all with me in regards to comics, you know that it takes me about 9 seconds to get around to John Byrne and or Superman. So I'm starting off with John Byrne's Superman, just to get that out of the way. This is Action Comics number 600. And like every book that I present on Causey's Classics, I could spend my whole half-hour show just talking about this one. So as I said at the top, anniversary issues have everything that makes comics great. And when you got Action Comics number 600, that big round number, and Action Comics has a bigger number than just about any book, especially back then, you knew you were in for a treat. Because if you can see this little box here, there's a whole bunch of names of all-time greats like Anderson, Giordano, Mignola, Ordway, Rude, Simonson, Stern, Swan, Zek. If you're a hardcore nerd like me, you recognized at least three or all of the names on that list, and I didn't even have to give you the first names. This particular issue, Action 600, is really fun. It's somewhat of an anthology, but not exactly. All the stories are written by John Byrne, who was the, of course, chief writer of all the super books at the time, and different artists for all the different stories. 1,000 things make this book fun. When I bought the book off the newsstand, it was Superman kissing Wonder Woman that was the big deal. You'd never seen Superman kissing Wonder Woman. What's going on there? All kinds of good fun in this book. You also get John Byrne, Mike Mignola, Man Bat story, which is really awesome. My favorite part of this is that you get a story written by John Byrne, but drawn by Curt Swan. If you're a longtime Superman fan or any kind of serious Superman fan, you love Curt Swan. And seeing a story written by John Byrne, but done in the art of those classic 60s and 70s comics was more than a treat. And again, a lot of what we're going to talk about tonight is that little piece of history. These anniversary issues bridge the gap between the greats that had been working, the greats that everybody wants to acknowledge, but also welcomes in all that new top talent like Mike Mignola and all the guys who were just coming into comics way back when. So this guy's just going for $10. It's a really, really great book. If you're a Byrne fan, if you're a Superman fan, you have to have this. It's a nice copy, good square spine. You don't find square spines too much. So you condition guys are going to like this. Superman folks are going to like this. Art and story fans are going to like this. Just a great, great book. One of my favorite issues and was also the one where the bell rang in my head that if I lived long enough, I could pick up Action Comics 1000, because 600 was really huge. And I was like, maybe there will be 1000. And we got to do that last year, and that was a lot of fun. So let's go ahead and make it live with Action Comics number 600. Cool anniversary issue. It's 1987 probably, because the Burn stuff started in 86. This is part of the big 50th anniversary gala, of course. Great stuff. Great stuff. Get this book into your collection. Read it cover to cover. It's a real gem. Another thing I'm going to talk a lot about tonight is how anniversary books are fun to read. Last couple of weeks, I've been a little Marvel heavy, or not last couple of weeks, last month when I did this show, it was all about the what ifs. We were way into the Disney Plus, way into the Marvel thing. So I'm trying to pepper it a little bit with a few more DCs this week, like this guy. This is Batman number 500. Another big round number, another big cool anniversary issue. This is part of the Nightfall thing. This is the foil gatefold version like they like to do in the 90s. As I said, every book tonight is a book that I could spend half an hour talking about. So cool foily Batman logo. Yeah, nothing says 90s like foil. But then you get this cool cardstock Azrael Batman, super cool. Let's face it, you love the cover gimmicks. You hated it back then, but you love it now. You wish more comics would get back to stuff like that. It was just fun. But you didn't buy this book just for the awesome cover. You bought it for all the reasons that you always buy Batman. For me personally, it's always about creative teams. And this one has one of the greatest Batman creative teams ever, which is Doug Mensch handling the scripting, and my man Jim Aparo blessing you with his art. Doug Mensch is Batman writer extraordinaire. If you're any kind of Batman fan, you know the name from the comics, you know the name from the animated series, you know the name because it's synonymous with great Batman books from the 70s, 80s, 90s today. Doug Mensch is one of the all-time best. And Jim Aparo on the art side, same thing. Jim Aparo is my personal favorite Batman artist. And I know that's very lofty. He's Francie's favorite Batman artist as well. And yes, there's thousands. Okay, Jim Lee, Frank Miller, Neil Adams, the list goes on and on and on. And that list is comprised by the greatest artists in comics, no doubt about it. But my personal favorite is Jim Aparo. Why? Because Jim was a master of so many things, and he fused them all into each and every panel. Whether you're talking about physical proportions, whether you're talking about action in the line art, detail in the clothing and in the vehicles and in the weapons, whatever it is that you are drawn to in the art, Jim Aparo was excellent at that. And that sort of pseudo-realism that was really big in the 70s is just one of my personal favorite things in comics. It brings a kind of reality into this fantastical realm. And like I say, nobody was better at that than Jim Aparo. And he just did it all. He gave you Gotham, and he gave you the bad guys, and he gave you the good guys, and everything just as they were supposed to be. So if you don't know the name Doug Mensch, you got to pick up this book. If you don't know the name Jim Aparo, you got to pick up this book. And you got to do a little homework, because those two have done, as I said, some of the very, very best Batman. Okay, so then we're also at a real pivotal point in this whole Nightfall thing. You guys know what happened in Nightfall. You probably read the beginning. You know what happens at the end. But this is one of those key pivotal turning point issues. With what's going on with Bruce in the whole story, what's happening with Azrael in this whole story, what's happening with Robin being torn apart between the two, all the villains, everything that made Nightfall great. And it is great. I know many of you have read the trade paperback. A lot of you have the original issues. But if it's been a while since you read the whole thing, or if you don't have this key one in that run, pick this up, because as a single issue, it's really, really fun. You're witnessing the downfall of Batman, the rise of Bane, and the descent into insanity of Azrael. Really, really great issue by two of the masters. So let's go ahead and make it live. Oh, did I forget to mention Joe Quesada doing the cover? Joe Quesada drawing Batman? What? Yeah, because this is way back from 1992. Hard to believe this book's 30 years old, but it is, and it's awesome. Doug Mensch, Jim Aparo, Joe Quesada, Batman, Bane, the whole gang. It's all here in a cool foily cover. Batman 500. Pick this one up because it's awesome. Good stuff. And, well, we all know the great trinity of comics. You can't show a Superman book and a Batman book and then move on to something else. You got to get some Wonder Woman in there. This is Wonder Woman number 300. And quite frankly, it might be the best of the three books that I've shown you. How could that be, Cause? You love Superman. You love John Byrne. Action 600 is one of your all-time favorites. Yes, but this little gem does all of those things that I mentioned in the other two, but does it with art by Gene Colan. And Gene Colan is, boy, one of the most unique talents in comics. Again, John Byrne's my all-time favorite. Jim Aparo is my all-time favorite Batman artist. Gene Colan, as I said, is one of the most unique sort of art styles out there. It's a really nice condition book, so I don't want to mess with it too much, but I just got to show you. Oh, that cool Gene Colan style. It's just a little dark, a little moody, great facial expressions, great environment and atmosphere. Gene Colan sucks you into the story. And that genius Roy Thomas with his brilliant scripts keep you reading all the way to the last page. Got this cool wraparound cover, nice square bound spine. Did I show you guys the cool wraparound cover? The square bound spine. Okay, Roy Thomas and Gene Colan, much like Doug Mensch, Jim Aparo, much like John Byrne and anybody. Roy Thomas, all-time great. A little like Joe Quesada doing a Batman cover. Wait, wasn't Roy Thomas editor-in-chief of Marvel? Wasn't Roy Thomas the great mastermind of the Marvel Comics of the 1970s? Yes, but he's also brilliant enough to slide next door and do a little work for the other guys, like a big anniversary issue. Again, love these big anniversary issues. This one particularly is a lot of fun because it takes you through the whole gamut of Wonder Woman. It takes you from Washington to Paradise Island and back. Little Steve Trevor, little classic villains, a little bit of everybody. It's not an anthology. It's one giant story that takes you all through everything that makes Wonder Woman one of the greatest characters of comics. And as I said, it's a whole bunch of pages of art by Gene Colan. There's another great Gene Colan Wonder Woman shot. Great, great book. And like I say, just big and chunky, lots to read, lots to go through, a little bit of everything that makes Wonder Woman great, that makes comics fun to read. I guess I won't go any deeper than that. Wonder Woman 300. Pick it up. Check it out. This one's a really nice copy. All the books I've got tonight are in really, really good shape. As I say, white pages, square spines. Hard to find square spines on these oversized books because people like me read them over and over again and they get flattened out. But I found some real nice copies for you guys. So let's go ahead and make it live. Wonder Woman number 300. My man Britt, if you're watching, throw out a little comment about Wonder Woman 300 since you have the previous 299. You've probably read all of these. One of my favorite books. Love these anniversary issues. It's a real treat seeing all these all-time great writers and artists really giving it their best. Anniversary issues are kind of a love letter to the comic, to the hero, to the fan who has made that comic great for 300 issues, 500 issues, 600 issues, whatever it might be. It's, as I said at the top, everything that makes comics great. And my last anniversary issue, and then we got a few other things to talk about tonight, is, well, a Causey classic because, you know, it's my show. So I talk about books that I love. Did I mention at the top that I like John Byrne? Did I mention, did you know I like Captain America? If there's a guy I like more than Superman, it just might be Captain America. This is Captain America number 255. the 40th anniversary of Captain America. Fresh from, what does that make it, 1981? I was just a wee lad when I bought this book off the stands, and 40 years, man, 40 years seemed like a long time in 1981. 1941 seemed like, I mean, that's older than my dad. So anyway, 40th anniversary of Captain America. All kinds of things that make this book really, really great. First of all, did I mention it's written and drawn by John Byrne? What makes it especially awesome, and frankly, something Byrne does not get enough credit for, this book has the entire origin of Captain America. And you might think to yourself, big deal, cause I've got 20 books that have the origin of Captain America. That's true, but each of those other 20 books have a different origin. If you read Captain America #1 from the 1940s, they show you Cap getting injected with stuff. Then when you read Captain America 100, they show you him getting radiated because that's what they did in the 60s. Every time you would read the origin of Captain America, the super soldier serum was delivered to him in some sort of different way. So John Byrne was the first guy to take all of those things and make it into one cohesive story. That's what you see in the movie. Like I say, I don't think he gets enough credit for that because like I say, before Captain America 255, there was no one origin of Captain America. There was a different story that got told every single time somebody felt like telling the story. So this is really, really important. And of course, as I said, ties into the movie. It's also a ton of fun to read. You didn't get a lot of Bucky back in the day. For the longest time, you know, Bucky was dead and he was supposed to stay dead. And you really didn't even see flashback stories very much. So it was kind of cool to see some modern World War II stories outside of the invaders line. And like I say, just great to see that Byrne art. I'll back up a little bit and say, if you love Byrne like I do, if you love Cap like I do, or if you don't know anything about either one, then you should go back a little bit before this one to Cap America, like 242, 241, 242, and then read up through 255. This is some of the best books you're going to find. Roger Stern and John Byrne, two of my all-time favorites, and they do a Baron Blood story. They do the anniversary here. They do Cap number 250 is in this run where Cap runs for president. Over the years, it has been overshadowed by a lot of other great runs. But if you love Cap and you love great stories and great art, pick up Cap 240 through 260 and some of the best Captain America books you're going to find. So this is just a regular sized issue, just another issue in the run. It's not all supersized like those other anniversary issues, but it is a ton of fun to read. I mean, again, it's in a really, really nice shape, so I don't want to mess with it too much. But there's Byrne's homage to Captain America #1 with a little blue stripe on the shield. Cool stuff. Love me some Byrne, love me some Cap. And again, this issue, this run is kind of why some of the best comics you're going to find. Let's go ahead and make it live. Captain America #255, the 40th anniversary of Captain America. Tons of fun. And I mentioned that I'd say something about legacy numbers tonight, and I'll chime in really quick that it's these big numbers that make it fun. Number 300, number 500, number 600, because, you know, when you were reading Batman like 492, you're like, ooh, the big 500's right around the corner. Wonder what they're going to do. Is it going to be double-sized? Is it going to be another analysis of the origin? Are we going to get to watch Martha get shot again? No, it's just a big Nightfall issue. But anyway, we looked forward to these because you knew they were coming. And, you know, now with everything getting relaunched all the time, we don't get to these big, you know, 200, 300, 700 numbers. And it's kind of too bad. I'm a big fan of the legacy thing. So that's your anniversary issues. My big one, Avengers number 750, is right around the corner. So I'm looking forward to that. It's good times. Got a couple more things to talk about that aren't anniversary issues. But again, this is Causey's Classics. And I like to find you guys some gems, something that you'll really want to sink your teeth into. One I've had on the show before, but I know that there are folks out there that need this book. And that's this guy. Here's a copy of Watchmen #1. You know what this is. Alan Moore, Dave Gibbons, popularly considered one of the greatest, maybe the greatest superhero graphic novel of all time. What gets overlooked now after all these years was that, like most graphic novels, it started out just as regular comic books. And this is, of course, the first issue. I was really sorely tempted, to be honest, to spotlight the might be number 6. My favorite issue of the series is when he's on Mars. Dr. Manhattan is telling you his origin, his life story, while he's standing there on Mars. I think it's the best issue of the series because it's just Alan Moore at his best. But if you don't have any of them, if you only have the trade paperback, you need the original issues, and you certainly need at least the first one. And this is it in a really, really nice copy. Like I said, I know I've had this on the show before. It's a fairly mainstream book at this point, but I know there's lots of folks out there that want one, that need one. I mean, what can you say about Watchmen? I would say one of the things that gets talked about outside the book, if you don't have one, buy it now. Not to sound salesy, but this book goes up and up and up. These copies of this book get harder and harder to find because a new generation of fans gets turned on to Watchmen, I don't know, 3-4 times a year. And so, the copies are, like I say, prices are going up, copies are drying up. This one's really nice. If you need one, now would be the time to get one, because next time you see it, it's going to be more than, I think we've got this one for $75. It's kind of $100 book anywhere you see it. And like I say, next time when you get out to the shows, when the conventions return in full force, this book is only going to be pricier. So start your 12-issue run with this one. Pick up the other 11 issues because it really is one of the all-time greats. And again, like all the books, I could go on for the whole show about this. I could talk about the Carlton characters that he homages to do this book. I'm a huge fan of Blue Beetle and Captain Atom and all that Carlton stuff. Obviously, we could talk about the genius of Alan Moore. We could talk about all his other stuff, V for Vendetta, et cetera, et cetera. But it's only a half-hour show, and I've got another book to get to. So let's go ahead and make it live. Like I say, if you don't have a Watchmen #1, this is a really nice copy. It's a good price, and it's a really, really fun book.
And we've sold out of everything before that.
Oh, yeah?
Yep.
All the other books are gone?
All the other books are gone.
Kudos to you, savvy and talented folks. If you missed out on one of the books, if somebody beat you to it, track it down either this weekend at San Jose Con or whatever you got to do to get a hold of these cool anniversary issues. And Watchmen #1, not an anniversary issue, but a first issue is the next coolest thing to an anniversary issue, right? Good stuff. And I'm a fan of the movie, just to chime that in. Everybody's talking about the HBO show, and the movie is hot and cold with some people. I'm a big fan of the movie. Okay, now for the gem. On Causey's Classics, I always like to wrap up the show with something really cool, something people want. And what could be more wanted these days than the origin of the Black Panther? This is Fantastic Four number 53, the second appearance and full origin story of the Black Panther. One of the coolest characters in all of comics, one of the coolest characters in cinema, one of the coolest characters in fiction, and of course, the creative team is Stan Lee and Jack Kirby. You already knew that. But FF52 and 53 are a couple, I'd say they're my favorites. You already know that. They're a couple all-time greats. It's my personal opinion that as a 2-issue thing, Amazing Fantasy number 15, the first appearance of Spider-Man, and Black Panther, Fantastic Four 52, the first appearance of Black Panther, are the 2 best single-issue comics there are, in my opinion. Amazing Fantasy 15 has everything. Romance, science fiction, drama, teen angst. It has it all. And FF52, and when you tack on 53 because it has the origin story, it is truly cinematic. Kirby does his best work on these 2 issues, no doubt about it. Hard to say that Stan's doing his best work because Stan's, always doing his best work, but Kirby took out all the stops on these 2 issues, particularly with this one with the origin. You get a lot of splash pages. You get a lot of that great Kirby action lines and everything that made Kirby great, everything that made the FF great. And of course, 52 is the first appearance. 52 is the one everybody wants. That book's going anywhere from $500 to $1,000. So I couldn't really dig up a copy of that to put up on my show. But the origin is awesome, and it's extremely overlooked. And of course is much more affordable than its predecessor, number 52. So if you don't have FF53, you need a copy. I understand this is a little pricey. It's out of reach for some folks, but if you can swing it, you need this in your collection because it's awesome. And it's in really great shape too. It's not like a 9. I think I have it up there at like a 7. But let's show you a little of that Kirby greatness that I'm talking about. Dun, dun, dun. Again, it's one of Stan's best because it's just packed with all kinds of text, all kinds of backstory. Oh, did I mention it's the first appearance of Claw, the villain from the Black Panther movie? So that makes it kind of just as cool as the origin. Like I say, very cinematic, huge scope in this story, taking you all through, introducing you to Wakanda and everything that makes Wakanda awesome, introducing you to Claw and everything that makes Claw a real jerk. Showing you why T'Challa is everything. T'Challa is everything that all 4 of the FF are. He's smart as Reed, strong as the Thing. He's as good looking as Sue. If you're, I don't know what the word is for that. Anyway, tons of fun in this book. FF53, one of the all-time greats. Lee and Kirby, origin of the Black Panther, first appearance of Claw. Guess the only thing left to say is make it live. This book needs a good home. This copy is nicer than mine, so I should probably take it. But I've already got one, so I'm not trying to find it a good home. Check out that awesome cover.
And Watchmen sold out too.
Oh, and there it goes. So that's the last one available. This one right here. Grab it while you can. Fantastic Four 53. Lee and Kirby, all-time great. So that's some really fun books. Those anniversary issues are really great. Glad somebody picked those up. Enjoy reading those. Again, if you missed out on them, dig around and look around for all of those great anniversary issues. Avengers number 100 is one of the all-time great issues of the run. Let's see, of course, all the Amazings. Pick up Amazing 50, Amazing 100, Amazing 200. Amazing Spider-Man 200 is a really great book and is extremely overlooked. Fantastic Four 200, which was the ultimate battle of Dr. Doom and Mr. Fantastic, one of the greats. So dig around at your local shop or online for those anniversary issues because they're tons of fun. And anyway, that wraps up another episode of Causey's Classics. Hope you had as much fun as I did. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time in a brand new show.